This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, but the real star of today's show is you guys, because you are here. You are the pit crew, and you were here for today's edition of the Pit Stop. And, of course, you are the real star of today's show. What was that? What did we just see? What did we just hear? Anybody know? This was actually posted by SimRacing604. Brandon let me know about it, and at first it stumped me. I thought it was just some retro movie. I was kind of like shocked. There was no commentary. I was like, what is this? And it was obviously vintage. And anyway, it wasn't until Brandon actually told me, and I went and double-checked the description, but that's literally Project Cars 2. That's a tribute to Le Mans 1971 unedited audio. That is the audio that the game actually exported. So that actually was done by John's Movies. John, J-O-N-Z Movies. And again, this is let me just bring that up again if I can. It sounds amazing to me, and the video is really good and stunning too. But anyway, the reason I'm playing it is it fooled me this morning. I wouldn't have even realized that this was a game footage. I literally thought it was some movie or something that I just was never aware of. So anyway, well done by John's videos. Rather impressed with the way that went out. So anyway, I thought that was cool, and you can check that out at John's Movies. It's called Le Sound on YouTube. Yeah, I totally thought it was a legit movie. It totally stumped me, so that was awesome. Anyway, so yeah, John's Movies on YouTube, Le Sound. And again, I never would have in a million years guessed that was a game. Yeah, he used a filter, so he did edit the video, but he says the audio is actually unedited. The captured sound directly from the game, not edited. That's exactly what he said. But it just kind of reminds me of our outro, my final credits with the patron credits. And I play car sounds in the background, and I'm just a big fan. I mean, to me, that's music. It's music to my ears. So, what is going on in sim racing now that we've had that? But that was sim racing related, no doubt about it. Anyway, so what else is going on? Forza had their big thing yesterday, so there's a little bit of news. We had the Hoonigan truck, remember? Don Jawan Song says it is now his favorite car in all of Forza Horizon 4. Any of you guys get a chance to try it out? Have you tried it? Did you get out there and do it? They have some screenshots. Brian Eckbert's the bearded guy, him and a selection of shots of people who'd come by the studio in order to be part of yesterday's. There's G2 Lage, our Forza World Champion right there. And Ali Talk, I guess would be this other gentleman. And then here we have him here with Flawless Cowboy and Nitro Glitter. So I'm not sure which one's which. Is this Nitro Glitter and that's Flawless Cowboy? Did I get that backward? I'm just messing with you, of course. I'm guessing it's the other way around, but you never know. Anyway, but they do have a post by Alan Walsh this morning saying, missed last night's edition of Forza Monthly. Here's all my coverage from the broadcast. So you can find all that at the Twitter feed. He put Steve McQueen audio at the end. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't want to play the whole thing because if you want to see it, you should go see it on his channel. I'm just letting you know. Just letting you know so you can go find it. Also, another post. We had their weekly post. Here's their monthly post, I believe this one is. The Forza Motorsport 7 November update by Brian Eckberg, the bearded gentleman we were just looking at, including today's thumbnail, which is part of the update, includes a 1973 Porsche number 6 Penske Sunoco 917/30 Can-Am Spyder. Everyone who's a racing fan, at least the older guys like me, certainly remember this car. This was one of those influential cars. Yesterday I was talking about the Maverick, the Hot Wheels Maverick, and what an influence it played in my life. I think I did have eventually some Can-Am models or Hot Wheels or things when I was maybe a little bit older, but in those defining years when I was really becoming a racing fan, it was the Can-Am body shape that really inspired me. Really, I just really thought they were really cool. I think it was kind of that there was a certain feature of the Can-Am cars that resembled the racing cartoons when I was a child. That was the shape, the type of shape you'd see in those cartoons. Anyway, I think that's why that was a car that I always gravitated to, and it might be even the 917 that made me a Porsche fan for life. They talk about all the other things going on, the race shop, the lack of the crates, the Hot Wheel pack that came out. some deadlines and dates for other things going on, some Forza events, and some Hot Wheels rival events going on. So lots of stuff out of both sides of Forza Horizon and Motorsport for those people out there. Gran Turismo, just a little quick, another recap on how the America's Nation Cup was won. This is a video they posted at their Twitter page for Gran Turismo, showing Igor Fraga of Brazil doing one of the wildest, calling it one of the wildest Nation Cups finales yet. Finals. I always throw the finales. That's it. Then Gran Turismo also has a big write-up. This is from their news feed, talking about the Gran Turismo November update, the addition of the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and 9 new cars. So looking at the cars, we're looking at a Ferrari GTO 84. Oh, I applaud. That's such a wonderful car. You know, this is one of those cars. I am so about diversion. This is one of those cars that, like, some people see this body shape and think Magnum PI and think of the, 328, I think it was, which was not a great Ferrari. It's still a beautiful Ferrari. It was just sort of 308. No, 308 was a good one. What was the number of the Magnum PI? Someone help me out there. But this resembles it in shape, but there is nothing similar about the Ferrari GTO 84 and the Magnum PI other than a very similar type of body shape. This is a badass car right there. One I've loved in other sims for sure, just to let you know. Maserati Gran Turismo S, beautiful car. Pagani Zonda R09. I'm assuming there's probably another Pagani already in, I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure there's already another NSX, if I'm not mistaken. Honda Epson NSX 08 racing version. Lexus Petronas Tom's SC430. Nissan Nismo GTR. All these are race versions. And then we get to the Jaguar E-Type Coupe. Magnum was a 308. Thank you. Yeah, 308. I mean, it was kind of a cool car, but they weren't really loved Ferraris. I think they're kind of making a big comeback on the retro scene, if I'm not mistaken. Subaru Impreza, of course, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. I keep massacring that name right there. And then they're talking about some events going on. So lots of good stuff going on at Gran Turismo. You'll find all of that at their pages as well. Race Room, the Lambo Zonda. Lambo Zonda. Yeah, twin-turbo V8 in the GTO versus just a regular 308, which is like the Ford Mustang, I think is a 305. No, that's a... Oh, come on, Sean. Now you're 296. I think the small Chevy is a 305. Anyway, Race Room talking about their next patch. It says it's going to have the long-awaited liveries for the Cayman Club Sport. So I believe the Club Sport's already in the game, but it would be the liveries that kind of make it more fun to race, I would imagine. And they're excited. Bring the full grid of Cayman Trophy by Manthe Racing that races the VLN series. So they have some screenshots of these cars. The Cayman. This is another one of those cars. Porsche does some funny things. I don't know how much you people follow Porsches, but man, they are determined to never let a different Porsche be superior to the 911. So here is the Cayman, mid-engined 911 essentially, that could be just an incredibly deadly car. And funny enough, they've managed to always keep that just a little bit less than a 911. No, nothing can be superior to the 911. Race department talking about the old and new feature, the latest Dirt 2 previews, some more screenshots. We already saw that Porsche there, and we talked about, gosh, I didn't know they did. So really nothing new there. Thank you. That's sort of regurgitated news. Sorry. Volvo arrives as free downloadable content for American Truck Simulator. So the new Volvos, look at that. That's a beautiful truck right there. I mean, if you're going to drive a truck, I don't know. So you truckers, are Volvos cool? Or is it still, you know, all about American trucks? That's my big question to the truck people. The Testarossa. Yes. Mustang 302. Thank you. The Testarossa was significantly more money than a 308, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Testarossa was the high-end car, and the 308 was the low-end car. The Cayman, also known as the Boxster with a roof. I think it has better lines than the Boxster, but the Boxster, when the Boxster came out, had they given that a proper power plant, would that have been superior to a 911? The Cayman, given a proper power plant, would it be superior to a 911? I have heard the GT4, the Cayman GT4, is the most sought-after current model Porsche, if I'm not mistaken. More sought-after than the GT3 even, and very hard to obtain. Miami Vice Testarossa. 351 is the Ford 350. Chevy would be a 350 if I'm not mistaken. I love car talk. We could do this one. We could do this all day long. Kart Sim already got an update, so I've heard some very, very mixed reviews on KartKraft. I've heard a lot of hope. I think that's fair to say. I've heard a lot of hope that it could be great. It should be great. It needs some tweaking. It needs some feedback from simmers to let them know what they can change, what to do different. But anyway, there was an update. I don't know how much that has affected things. I know Heiko and Kahootie, the patron team, have been going at it on the leaderboard. I'm not sure. I don't think I have today's shot, but they are within just a few thousandths of each other, if I'm not mistaken. And Jesse Conroy comes out of nowhere to give those two aliens a little run for their sub-aliens. We'll call those guys sub-aliens, no offense. Rick Botek had a guest in the shop. Anybody recognize him? Anybody know who that is? You should. If you've been around sim racing, you should know who that is. If you are a Gran Turismo fan, you should know who that is. That is none other than Brian Heitkotter. He was one of the GT Academy winners who went on to have a pretty decent racing career. I think he still does some SCCA solo racing, but he went on to run. But anyway, he was there in the factory, in the shop. When we do our hot lap pump days, yeah, that's what it is, with Rick Botek, that's the same shop that they're filming when I'm showing their studio. So that's where he was, trying out the Rick Botek gear and getting to meet those guys. But we've interviewed Brian. He's a great guy. Brian is a really, really nice guy. One of my favorite people that I've ever met in sim racing. Really fine gentleman. I've already mentioned this, but it did get a write-up at Autosport, which meant it also got the exact copy at Motorsport. Funny enough, I'm thinking those two publications must be the same staff. But you guys remember Emily. You guys remember Emily Jones from the show. But there's Emily. We already talked about this. But apparently, you know, this whole event that went on down there in Japan, she just showed up cold. I mean, she's not really known as a Forza motorsport driver. She just showed up to the event and actually laid down a lap time good enough to get into the event, kind of on just really short notice. So anyway, one other thing that Jesse mentioned, she is a very tall girl. Look at the height compared to this seat, and look at the average guy. You know, it's hard to know everybody's height, but her head is well above that seat. So she's a tall girl, if you didn't get that from when we interviewed her. But another accomplished sim racer out there. But getting a write-up at Autosport and at Motorsport, which is the whole point in me bringing this up. Yeah, Frito, is great getting to see him continue his career. You know, most of the GT Sport career guys, I mean, what's the average career after winning the Academy? I would say it's probably about 3 years. You probably end up with about a 3-year career. Obviously, Lucas, hey, come here. Come on. Come here. None of that. Come here. Obviously leading the way with, come on. And some other guy, come on. No, come on. You're good. You didn't do anything wrong. You just need to shut up. Go lay down. Go lay down. Go on. Go lay down. Go lay down. That's a good boy. Oh, no, you're coming for attention. All right, sorry, you guys. I've got dog attention going on right now. But Sim Race Hardware News Test Blog, which I find on Google Translate. Thanks to The Man for sending it in. Thanks to everybody who does send in news. Yes, and Brandon, you are on it. That's exactly it. Tuesday is gardening day, and he does not like the noise going on outside. But anyway, HM Engineering. I've seen shots of this, and I think there's a second one. Like this one looks a little more plexiglass. The other one looks a little more of that high strength plastic that you'll see on like battle bots. But anyway, HM Engineering presenting a cockpit in complete transparency. So the first thing I think about in having a transparent rig is, what do I do for cable management? I kind of like being able to hide my cables, and I don't mind a bunch of roll bars around me because I'm racing. It feels like a roll cage when I'm in roll bars, and now I can hide my wires. But anyway, if I'm assuming that's acrylic. Is that acrylic? Or some new type of plastic that I don't know about. But that's clear. I know it's not glass. Made in Indonesia. This is the GT1, spelled out 1. It's a F1 model, they're calling it. And USD $394. A price level positioning is not bad with a price of $394 for a chassis with the seat. Yeah. Anyway, that's a totally different look. Never thought of going that route when it came to... You think of that, you know, it's really similar to a wood design in terms of what you would do using flat pieces. So if I were going to build a flat rig, it would kind of resemble something like that. Kind of reminds me of the Ricmotech design a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Amir. I'm not saying I'd run out and get one. I would be really interested to see, you know, plexiglass, and it's pretty thick looking. Anybody who's had an aquarium knows how strong it is. No bolts. No bolt nuts, no screws. Wow. Anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting and worth seeing. Motorsporttotal.com talking about dear friends of the virtual racing cockpit. Okay, no, I misread the title here. I'm sorry. This is something I just kind of going to have a little open discussion on, and we've talked about it a few times on the show. This is through Google Translate at motorsporttotal.com. Column, sim racing as a motorsport, what the DMSB decision means. The DM being the German Motorsport Association, when they recognize sim racing as a real form of motorsport. So, my question, you know, acrylic could be fragile, and it could get even more fragile with time. Unfortunately, I do think. Waterproof, yeah, completely waterproof. Rust-proof. So my question, and we talked about this in various different ways, but let's right now talk about real-life motorsports sanctioning sim racing and what an impact or what that could mean to us as sim racers. So, and with anything like that, I think some good and some bad would come with it. I think that looking at the F1 esport, having Formula 1 get involved, I think that we could list some pros and we could list some cons in terms of how it has affected things. The same thing, and there are some concerns that have been raised about the German Motorsport Association legitimizing sim racing as a motorsport, but could it mean rule changes? Could it mean different sanctioning? Could it mean a changing of the hierarchy in terms of, well, what's to say that they should be in charge when it comes to declaring a champion? Who should then do that? The association or iRacing? The association or McLaren Shadow? Anyway, whenever I see these articles, I try to go beyond just the article. This one actually cites and brings up a lot of those thoughts and points. What could be some of the negative impacts? How could this affect you? You know, if they're going to sanction it, what about things that we all complain about? Are they going to address the concerns and problems that we've had? Like, is it a real race if there's no one there to referee it? I mean, you think about any real-life racing series, I mean, go all the way down to karting. Not only do you have a real-life flagman, not an AI flagman, but you have judges and referees. And should things be grossly cheated, should things be violated, they're there to make the call. And in sim racing, we don't really have that for the most part. If they're going to step in and be part of it, well, is that something that they owe us, just like any other kind of racing? Anyway, just a little food for thought for you guys, and if you have any thoughts on it, I'll kind of be reading up on the chat. beyond that, while you guys do catch up with me, I'll play this video, and this is just another one of those crazy motion simulators. This is the CCAS Motion Sim VR Simulator for entertainment. I'm going to play the video because I think they'll enjoy the promotion. We're not going to slam it, but it actually, in shape, reminded me at first of the Salad Bowl Sims that I know two of, but it really isn't. It looks like it's more of a 6 degree of freedom, so you're going to probably have either 3 or 6 actuators holding that platform. They just have that netting, that webbing, that fabric, that stretchy fabric around the bottom so you don't see the actuators move. In some ways, it looks kind of clean like that. On the other hand, I kind of enjoy seeing all the machinery. But there he is, sim racing in the thing. But anyway, another motion sim idea out there that we're going to be seeing more of. You guys probably didn't hear the horrible music that I was hearing that went along with that. High impact 6 degree of freedom motion sim and associated washout algorithms designed for VR use. I know my Next Level Racing does that. It has, if you're in VR, it changes the output slightly in order to just make it a little more natural. Racing configuration comes standard with several racing games pre-installed in tunes, Project Cars, Dirt Rally. So it sounds like they're selling you a turnkey system as well if all this is pre-installed. A set of courses available. Others works with flight sims and other things. Anyway, kind of an interesting idea. I've never seen quite that approach. That whole Scorpion Stinger, I believe, is just a holder for like your VR umbilical cord, I'm guessing. Anyway, yeah, does it have to be mounted so high? I think so, because again, what you have is probably 6 actuators, 3 sets of 2, moving that platform around. So they probably do need that much space. Also, 6 degree of freedom simulators tend to have a lot of up and down motion as well, which most of the ones that we think of for most real sim racing applications don't have that. Yeah, it has a waterbed look to it, Dan. This isn't sim racing related, but it is sort of where our technologies overlap. But Skoda apparently developed new headlight tech through virtual reality. I saw an article recently, I'm not sure if it was Bell or what helicopter company, but they said that they literally designed their next-gen helicopter 10 times faster using VR than they would have had they not used VR in the design process. Which, anyway, again, this does show you where our worlds overlap, but apparently using simulation to test and play with things is how Skoda actually designed the lighting system that they're going to be moving forward with in their automobiles. A couple decent deals out there you should be aware of. If you are, I mean, I'm still on the fence on when to pull the trigger. I think I've seen them at this price, but this seems to be the bottomed out price for the Lenovo Explorer mixed reality headset. $99. So, I mean, no controllers. That's just the mask, which is all you need for sim racing. I'll say the Lenovo's not, or I didn't like the Windows mixed reality as much as I liked the Vive or Oculus. But for $99, that's pretty cheap to have your own never before used unit. And if you have to have controllers, you can find them at Walmart. The same headset with controllers in that bundle for $180. Yeah, it looks, I wonder what they do for stairs to get up and down in that. Well, it looks like there's one step up, but yeah, that's pretty good. It might come down a little bit more. VR, that's how Skoda should be driven. Very funny. All right, what else we got? A couple just techie things I'll tell you about. GeForce GTX 1080 Ti supply is reportedly dwindling. So we've seen great prices on those video cards, but apparently they're starting to run out because everybody's been going to the good pricing. Now those prices are going to start going back up. So you might want to get one of those if that's one you want to get. Just, I like telling you when Lionheart's getting ready to race. I believe it's Wednesday. Yep, November 7th. That's tomorrow at 9:35 Central Time. It'll be the No Name Racing Grand Prix of Montreal. If you want to watch some of the best IndyCar drivers in all of iRacing, it's going to be aired live on GSRC. And we're going to see a lot of the people who are fans of our show, and we're big fans of Lionheart. So go check out that stream if you're just sitting there looking for something to watch tomorrow night. Dream Sims. This is definitely a Dream Sim. If I'm not mistaken, that might be a Wave Italy. Yep, look at that. There's the logo right there. Wave Italy. That's a Wave Italy Ferrari F1 simulator. The title, this is on Reddit. The Ferrari store in Milan has a pretty awesome setup. Anyway, that's their setup. If you go to Ferrari in Milan, that's the simulator that they show off. I've driven that simulator, actually. It's a very good simulator. It uses their pedals, which I reviewed. They're very good pedals. Uses their steering wheel, which is very, very nice. I've used it in their simulator, but not had it at home. And other than the monitors being a little far away in that configuration, it's a really decent motion simulator as well. So anyway, you'll find that at the Ferrari store and a whole write-up on Reddit, so the whole world knows about it now. And I like to congratulate you guys. You guys are the star of the show. You guys are my friends, and I like to congratulate you on your efforts. We talked about Kahootie and Higeko and Jesse Conroy and even Spatial getting in on the KartKraft leaderboard. We've showed off Michael Thompson and Jamie going and hunting him down on the Project Cars 2 leaderboard. And this one isn't so much a leaderboard as much as a congratulations to one of our team members. But Stan Donnet has been really going after. He converted over to the dirt car running the 360 Sprint Series. This was his first time ever. He just joined iRacing, and he did some endurance races with us, and then he moved to the 360 Sprint car under the guidance of Billy Strange. And, you know, he is leading his division. So right now we are 8 weeks into the season. We are 3/4 of the way through the season, and at this point, Stand On It is leading the points with 737 points. He has 50. Oh wow, he has a 62-point lead. If my math is correct, I might be off a little bit. He has a significant lead over Eric Coyle, and just to show off his car, that's the car that Stan runs in. And you can see he's got a little Billy Strange Racing down there, a little Simpit logo on his car as well. So anyway, Stan, congratulations on kicking ass. I know it's been a big goal of yours, and I know you've been short on time, so it's taken a lot of your effort to stay on top. And, you know, I don't care what series you're in iRacing. I don't even care what division you're in iRacing. It is not easy to win a championship. It takes consistency. It takes really being determined and focusing and getting the job done. So well done to you on that. Really well done. And one last time before I go, because that is the end of the Today Show, but definitely go check out John's movies and see the whole scene, or more importantly, in my opinion, hear the whole video of the 1971 just yet, but I certainly will. But that is going to do it for today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the pit crew. Man, it's so much fun to talk about sim racing each and every day. This is the Sim Pit. I'm Sean Cole, and we'll see you.